What unites people? Flags, gold, stories. The immortal words of Tyrion. We got a story stream today from Jackie and Charles, so we'll be covering that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 405. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Well, we had our first snow this week. Actually, I don't know if it really counts if it doesn't stick, but it's like the harbinger. You know, winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
To go with your lead in there. So yeah, that's oddly depressing. But anyway, in SWTOR this week, basically, well, starting with MFN, which I always do, on Tuesday night, we went and did the eye list, which is always fun. That boss takes us 15 minutes to set up and 2 minutes to kill. And then we collected all the people who couldn't make it to the boss fight because there's a level restriction. And we went all around the galaxy killing things.
Yep, a little bit of a rampage, quite a bit.
Yep,
actually, quite a bit.
That was so racking up the conquest points there. And also people leveling, getting a lot of XP and some achievements. So it was a good night. And then you and I, our ops team is on hiatus now until after the beginning of the new expansion and after we finish leveling now from 75 to 80. So sometime in January we'll start up again probably. So we went, we took Corley and Lucy, or they took us, or we went anyway, on the PTS, which is where we are now, the public test server, and we spent some time in the Flashpoint tonight. We're going to talk about that on another night. So that was interesting, and the reason we had time to do it was because of our ops team being on hiatus. So there's a silver lining there.
Yeah, I'm looking at you here. Do you have any bugs to report by chance?
Somehow I lost my legs. No, actually, this is a piece of armor. So I was wearing the default armor that you get on the public test server, and then we went in the Flashpoint and I upgraded my legs. And as soon as I put them on, and this happened with Lucy also, my legs disappeared. So that is me wearing upgraded pants.
Not that you can see Seema's like naked knees or anything.
No, that's just gone invisible. Completely.
There's boots.
Yes.
There's
you can see
empty boots on the ground, and then Seema's torso hovering in the air above it.
You can see inside my boots, and there's nothing in there.
You can look down into the boots, which looks kind of weird because it clips. It doesn't clip on the inside, even though it clips on the outside. So you can actually.
I was hoping that I would get like an upgraded chest piece too, and then I could just be a floating head, just head and feet.
That would be great.
So that was fun. Trying out different speeders and how they look with. Here, let me show you this one.
Remember the Borg Queen in yeah, there you go. She's just her boots are laying on the ground and her hand is holding her torso up in the air. You're hovering your torso. It was a terrible lightsaber accident when in training.
Yeah. So it's been a fun evening. We might do it again. We might do it again because we want to do the bonus boss. We did do the bonus boss this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much my weekend. SWTOR. How about you, Max?
Same sorts of things. Of course, the eyeless, the setup of course, that takes us so long is admiring his butt. Because as we know, he's one of the top 3 boss butts in the game. It's the eyeless.
Yeah, he is.
It's Foreman Crusher, and it's Gargath on Hoth. Those are the top 3 boss butts in the game. There are other okay butts as well. There's Garza and butts like that. But those boss butts, those are the best boss butts.
Oh my God.
I've got those. I've got those saved. I've got those pictures on hot standby in case anyone has a screenshot contest. Those are the pictures you get from me. So you got that.
Tell me you don't have a screenshot of Garza's butt.
I do not have a screenshot of Garza's butt.
Okay.
It is quite a fine specimen, but I do not have screenshots of that. No, it's the boss butts because they're giant, right? So some developer took all that time to craft all those polygons on those boss
Yeah.
butts. Spectacular. So did that. Yes, the time on the PTS is interesting. Running Elam, getting a good whiff of that Elam musk was quite interesting, but we won't talk about that until next week because there was something more fun to talk about this week. So we'll be getting into that. But first, one other thing I'll mention on the side. In preparation for things like this story discussion that we're having and the expansion that we're having and the 4K trailers that we got to see, I pulled out my copy of Deceived on Audible, which I actually hadn't bought. I thought I did, so I don't think I think I've only listened to excerpts from it. But this is the Star Wars: The Old Republic book, Deceived. It's got Malgus and Jane Erso. No, what's her name? Aaron Lanier. Lanier. Aaron Lanier and Malgus are the main characters. You get a little bit more of the backstory. The story wasn't as expansive or as broad. It's like even the recording was only about like 8 hours or so. So it's more almost on the novella size. But you did get some better insight into
8 hours
Malgus.
is a real novel size.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt really short. With that amount of, I think I listened to it in 2 days. So it was just felt short. And it also felt short from a content and story perspective. There was a couple stories. I wanted more. I wanted more of Malgus's backstory. But we got some of that in the cutscenes. But we didn't really get an origin. It's no origin story for Malgus. It's the transition from what you see after the trailers. So the trailers end with the Hope trailer, which is no, they end with the Deceived. So this one comes after he has the fight with Satil Shan on Alderaan. So she damages him quite a bit, and that's where he gets his respirator. This is the story of So this is the between Hope and Deceived. In fact, the opening scene is the Deceived trailer where it's the assault on the Jedi Temple. So it's the story of what then happens from that point on. In the background is the peace treaty that's going on between the Empire and the Republic. In the middle of the peace negotiations is this assault, and they do this assault as part of this opportunity to
It's part of their negotiations.
But that's not what Malgus thought it was for, and he's upset about that. So you get a little bit more story about Malgus, and you get what ends up driving his planning then for what he does for the whole first 3 chapters of your class story, that you then catch up with him on Elam all over and end up dealing with him at that point. But you'll at least understand sort of where he's coming from. You also get a character arc, a little bit of Malgus, where his character, he sort of changes, he grows in a kind of a horrible way, but he grows. So there's that too. He's not a good guy. He's got some interesting ideas. I think he would make a better empire. The Empire's not a good, not a good organization, but I think he would be a better emperor than Vitiate, Valkorion. So, because I think he has a little bit better ideas than that, but he's not a good guy. Let's be clear about that. Anyway, not the best book. Pretty good book, though. I would recommend doing it, especially right now, so that you sort of catch up with where Malgus was at then and what he might be doing now and why. And with that, let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So I was looking in the news, and there isn't too much, but a bunch of updates in the bug tracker and then in the dev tracker about bugs from Natha, we assume, who's community team here. I had to give her props for interpreting this one in particular. Error with buying cartel coins. EROOR. sort of gave me a "How is Babby formed" vibe
Yeah.
off of that one.
So some it's not nothing against the guy. It's just some typos are funny. They
Yeah,
just
and
make it
maybe
funny.
it's not
Yeah.
even English as the first language kind of thing, but
Right. Yeah.
EROOR. That was great.
It's just a typo.
Yep,
Yeah.
and she got it, and I mean, so it was not a mystery there. The only
And
other
then
big
also
what else? The only other thing we heard about.
in the news was
Yeah.
just a notification about the live stream that happened today. So light news week. And so there was a live stream today, and that's what we're going to dive into.
Yeah, we will do that in quite a bit of detail. In guild and community news, we're continuing to have quite a bunch of things going on across our guild. AIE-guild.org. It's a big multi-gaming community, as you know. We're going to have a pretty busy December in that we've got on the 3rd, so it's coming up 2 weeks, we're going to have the Final Fantasy expansion. So spoilers, we did get the date, and we'll talk about that at the end for when our expansion is, but it's going to be a couple weeks later. So we're going to have 2 big expansions with 2 of our major MMOs for Final Fantasy and SWTOR coming in December. And then all of the games, Guild Wars and everything else has events in December. We've got sort of holiday events to look forward to. So we'll be doing a lot of that with guild stuff going on in December. A lot of our raid teams and a lot of our scheduled activities typically take a little bit of a break. We won't in Star Wars, I don't think. I think our officers got together and said, we've got like the expansion, the anniversary, we've got Life Day. We're probably going to push on through. And, obviously
Right.
people are going to come in and out as they have stuff going on, like Thanksgiving and Canadian Thanksgiving. I celebrate both. Did Canadian Thanksgiving already happen? It's coming up.
It's in October.
Oh, dang it. I celebrated it in spirit.
You celebrated
Sorry.
it during Narshada
I thought it
Nightlife.
was only like a week ahead. Anyway, I will raise a cup of Tim Hortons in honor of Canadian Thanksgiving again, and we're having ours next week. But we'll pack a whole bunch of guild events around all of that and have a whole bunch of fun. So if you want to catch up on what we're doing, continuing some of our bigger things, AIE-guild.org. Our guild Discord link is in the upper right. You can jump in our guild Discord. We've got a channel section for each of our major game categories. We've got a category in there called Nomads, which is all the stuff that's not really like a major category for us, but where we've got stuff going on. Dungeons and Dragons.
Games that we're just keeping an eye on, like Bitcraft.
Right, Bitcraft. Yeah, you forwarded the announcement that Bitcraft has a pre-alpha going live?
Pre-alpha starting soon. Yep. Invites went out today for their pre-alpha. And
not
they
to
made
me.
really
Not to me, they didn't. Not
no,
to
me either. I never get those anyway, but just they did a thing that I wish every game developer would do, which is they did a big long blog post, a lot of words about what a pre-alpha test, what that means to them, and what an alpha test means to them, and what a beta test means to them. So sort of trying to baseline expectations for what you're going to see when you get there, which I thought was really cool.
Right. And it was an important update because those terms
they're
have
changing.
changed.
Their meanings are changing.
Have changed. They've been used inappropriately in the past. They're Google, I think, was the biggest instigator of using it wrongly going back a decade ago when is Gmail still in beta, I think, 20 years later. So a lot of that does beta mean it's actually a released product? Does beta not mean that? What do you then mean by alpha?
I think it's just human nature. People log in and they expect to see everything working and beautiful.
Right. But that's why they're having a pre-alpha, which it's trying to further set the expectation that this is not a finished product. So don't log in and go, why is this broken? Why does this not work? Did you guys not even develop this yet? Because the answer to that question is no. No, we did not develop this yet. That's what pre-alpha means. That's what alpha means. It's not even feature complete. We haven't even put everything in there yet. But people don't understand that.
Didn't mean to start something there, but yeah.
See what you did, Seema.
We had other things in Nomads. We have, like Max started to say, Dungeons and Dragons, board games, but also
Call
New
of Duty,
World and other MMOs and other action RPGs and
Destiny, Diablo.
Destiny.
I think we call them the 5Ds. Destiny, Diablo, Dual
Dodge,
Universe.
Duck, Julian. Yeah.
Valheim is in there. That's not
Yeah.
a D, but there's other Ds in there. So yeah, tons of good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. AIE-guild.org. Shout out to the chat room. Thank you everybody for jumping in there, including the group that came in there from what's actually another not a SWTOR, another Escape podcast that's focused on the game Galaxy of Heroes. Fun to hear from that group. They are, a lot of them I think are even still in the chat room. So appreciate you guys coming and visiting. We'll have to return the favor and come and visit as well. Galaxy Heroes is a fun mobile game in the Star Wars universe. Always great to catch up with the chat room. I was making some more hardware changes on my rig, so always good to have somebody double check that they can even see the stream at all at the beginning of every night. So thank you very much, and we will catch up with you after the show, and we can talk more about the book Deceived or something else. But now, well, I already did my story bit. I was even gonna flip over. Where's Tyrion? I had Tyrion queued up.
You spoiled yourself.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna show Tyrion and let him do his. Here, we'll play him. It's a little quiet.
Armies.
But back it up.
Armies.
No, one more.
What unites people?
What unites people?
Armies. Gold. Flags.
Mm-mm.
Stories.
Stories. And who has a better story than Brand the Stupid Broken? What? Yeah, I get it. We're trying to subvert expectations, so they picked the dumbest response to that question, and that's what they ended the show with. All right, this is not a Game of Thrones podcast, though. This is a story podcast about Star Wars stories. So yeah, we got a ton of fun in the stream. Before we even saw the stream, not that we didn't think it would be a good stream, but we asked ourselves, oh, do you think there's going to be enough in the stream for us to have a show about it? And the answer was unequivocally yes. Well,
absolutely.
They could have had one slide that says, here's the release date, and we could have done 45 minutes on that.
That's right. Yes.
Because that's how we roll.
We do. That isn't our skill set.
Yes. But no, it was really good. Why don't you kick it off by telling us who they introduced us to in the pre-stream? Is actually pre-stream, which I don't know why they didn't just make it part of the stream. But
yeah, I don't know why either. But they did have a pre-recorded segment, which was an interview with Charles and Musco talking to Enuka Okuma, who's the voice of Tau Idar.
Yes.
And that was really fun. Every time they show us one of the voice actors, and they always have like a different take on stuff. It was just really fun. One of the things that she was really amazed by when she saw some of the footage was just how big the character is, which makes total sense to me.
Yeah, she sort of kept going on about that. She's huge. She's enormous.
She's a very large human being.
She's just large. So I guess Enuka Okuma, she's like, I'm kind of small. I mean, but her voice fills out the character and really,
I know.
Really
and she does. She looks very good in her like Urkel glasses.
Yeah, she's kind of stylish though, isn't she?
I want to get some. Yeah.
She was quite stylish in those Ray-Ban style. They almost look like blue blockers as well.
And she was also very adorable too when she said that she had no idea that the Star Wars universe extended so far and so wide. And when she was talking to other people in her life, they're like, yeah, it does. Just like, oh, okay, I guess I was the only one that didn't know.
And then Charles sort of pressed her. He's like, oh, did people kind of think like you're a nerd when you said you're doing Star Wars stuff? And she's like, oh no, almost like she kind of got street cred. It's like,
right.
Oh, I didn't,
like they had a kind of
like
a reverence.
Yeah. I mean, you do acting stuff, but then if you're on an actual Star Wars gig, people are like, oh, so okay, so you're a real actor then, like she was before too.
Yeah, she has yeah.
I never thought about that. It's that big of a property that it does lend legitimacy to people's careers, which is excellent.
Yeah.
So
And
that's really good
Chuckle
to
just
hear.
made a really great point, is that Tao's physical presence is offset by her own introspection and self-awareness, and that's really a great way of putting it.
Yeah, the conflicts within her and
Yeah.
the sort of the vulnerability within those conflicts. Her external shell is big and tough, but her internal dialogue is she's challenged along the way, which is great. So there's actual writing there. There's actual story. That's a good way to kick it off. So that was fun. And yes, I think you said it as well. Dang, all those every time we see an actor, they're attractive people, aren't they? They're just interesting to listen to. They're fun to look at.
They're articulate. They always have something. It's like they always bring something to it. They're just, yeah.
They should be paid for their charisma and presence in some way.
Right.
I wonder if there's
they should somehow build that into a career or something.
I don't know why we're surprised every time, but that's the case. I sometimes am surprised. Sometimes I'm surprised by how attractive every single one of the actors is, but then some aren't. There's always the Steve Buscemi's of the world who are so good at their craft that they can look like Steve Buscemi and still have an amazing career. So that's how you know the real power.
But even Steve Buscemi, when you look at him, you don't turn away. I mean, you're drawn in. So yeah, it's maybe not conventionally handsome.
Really? I think he's like, no.
He's not like Elephant Man or something.
He's not like exotically attractive.
No.
he's not attractive by any definition.
No. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying.
Why?
I was saying he has something else.
Well, you said he's not conventionally handsome, but
he's also, but yeah.
But he's unconventionally handsome? I don't know. Anyway, enough about as a person he is, and his personality shines through. But his face.
I have no knowledge of his personality.
Maybe not. He did a good job in Reservoir Dogs. That was my favorite role of his. Why do I gotta be Mr. Pink? Anyway, rest of the live stream then queued up, and it was live then from that point forward, and it was Jackie and Charles, both, as Jackie pointed out, having some quite spectacular hair and kicking off the actual live stream for us. First up, and this is really good to mention and remind everyone, there was a code. I didn't put this code in yet, Seema. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good.
I did it while I was watching the stream because I didn't want to forget.
Chat room, remind me after. I've got to put this.
Well, I'll remind you after Narshad on Nightlife is over.
Are you going to remind me on the 6th? Redeem this code by December 5th if you want it. It's lots of Tau, LOTS, capital L, small OTS, capital O, small F, capital T, small AU. Lots of Tau. SWTOR.com/redeem-code, and you will get a Tau Adair Stronghold decoration, which is kind of nice. It's kind of snazzy. It's well formed. It is lots of Tau there. No, capital O, Sir Galahad. LOTSOFTAU. Lots of Tau is the way they wrote it out. I don't know if if capitalization matters, but that's how they wrote it out. So put that in. You got till the 5th to get that in, and you'll get that cool Stronghold decoration. The rest of the stream really did focus about story, and they broke it into 2 chunks. They talk about places, and they talk about characters. Not much. It wasn't like spoilery, so nothing here is going to be a spoiler, but we'll go through both of those. I took a quick screenshot of each of the screenshots that they showed, so we'll get to see a little bit of it as we go along as well. But some good stuff. First up, what did we get, Seema? Manamanan.
Yeah, so we're returning to Manan.
Yes, returning. We have been in Manon before. Manon exists in the game. You might even have it as a stronghold. Manon came up, and we talked about Manon in a whole show, but remember it came up in the prelude to Shadow of Revan. And it was a place where Theron Shan and Lana Beniko were hiding out. Charles made the point that this is a slightly different look to Manon, a slightly different view. It's a different day. It's a whole new day. Not only is it in the middle of a battle, an invasion, the Empire is there to try to take it over. It is also stormy and dark. It must be hurricane season or whatever, because that's the kind of feel that you get from all of the art that they've shown so far as well.
Yeah.
He made a couple other comments. Did you catch anything else interesting? They both kind of seemed excited on this shot, which was them going on and on about, oh, looks like we're underwater. Did you catch them? And he said,
Yes, but I don't know what to think about it. Like Charles said, it's underwater, but not in the way you think.
mm-hmm. He's made that point a couple times.
The way I think underwater is swimming and things are in 3D, like things can be above you and below you and around and all that stuff. So it's not going to be like that, since that's how I picture it. And he said, not how I picture it.
He explicitly said no slow-moving scuba suit version of underwater. So what that made me think, and here's some speculation, is vehicle. Is maybe you're going to be like a little mini sub or something, and
that makes sense.
Around, in a vehicle, which would be interesting.
Some way to avoid having having to move your character in water.
If we are in some sort of vehicle, I hope it has laser beams on it, because there's Phyrexian sharks down there, and I want to shoot them with my submarine laser beams.
We should be able to capture a shark and then use the shark for locomotion, and then your little submersible would be riding on the shark, and then you'd be shooting lasers.
Or we could mount a laser beam on the shark, because sharks with freaking laser beams is where it's at. Or so.
That's right.
I've heard. Next up, in terms of locations, we got continuing views, art, and pictures of Elam. What did you think of Elam now that we've also seen it from the inside? We don't have to talk about the Flashpoint, but we also got to see it from the inside. I think Jackie was saying this is now her favorite.
I think I like this sort of distinctive coloring. I had issues with lag when I was in there, and I ended up putting my graphics down to low just to temporarily, so I wouldn't have to deal with that. But this is the test server, so maybe it's not optimized or whatever. But aside from that, this picture right here kind of captures it all. Yeah. It was rocks and trees with red leaves all the way through.
Rocks and ruins and trees with red leaves, and that cool sort of eclipsey view up in the sky.
Yeah. And there was a pretty, we're going to talk about that next time. When we talk about the Flashpoint, we'll go into more detail with what I was thinking of just then. Sorry to be mysterious.
Yeah. Well, I think they even showed this. That they showed this picture of the stairway going up the sides of the cliffs, which is a key part of the Flashpoint, which is lovely.
And it does really look like that.
That's it. I wonder if this is actually a screenshot and not concept art.
From really far away, and from an angle that we didn't have, but it could be.
Sort of, spoiler if you haven't been in there yet, and we won't go into too much detail, but this path up this side of the mountain, that's a boss. The path is a boss in my mind, at least. You will be challenged by it in some interesting ways. But anyway, Elam is Elam and the ruins there were home to or a base of or a facility from Darth Null. Yeah, NUL. In fact, that's the way it was. I guessed at that, but that if you go to the PTS, you can see it called the home of Null or
Yeah, Null's Ascent or Null's Peak or something like that.
So Darth Null, not all that important, except had some very powerful relics, and that's why Malgus ended up there. Malgus is on this hunt of relics. That's why he was on Dantooine in the Enclave, the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine. Now he's at Elam for some of the same thing. They also mentioned some of the other parts of the story, which is both the Empire and the Republic get wind of stuff going on Elam. The Empire sends the Imperial requisitions and the archaeologists that are part of that to go there and check it out. The Republic sends another group of their own to intercept, and both of those groups lose contact with their respective alliance. So we are sent in then, whether you're Republic or Imperial, to figure out what happened.
And if you do get a chance to go on the PTS and check it out, just there's no story spoilers. All that stuff there's no cutscenes. You don't have to worry about that.
Right. Except maybe the last fight. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it spoils it, but even knowing what the last fight is kind of a spoiler of at least part of what happens there. The second boss
unless we find out that it didn't happen, and then it's like the opposite of a spoiler.
Like it's like someone else in that place of that fight.
Like you exit the instance and it says,
"It was all a dream."
It was all a dream.
Bob Newhart pops up.
You turn over and Susan Pleshette
says, "I was married to a blonde." Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen.
So we'll talk more about the Flashpoint next week. But yeah, so this planet Elam is the site of this search for the relics.
Yes, that is cool. Then we got into a little bit of a discussion about the R4 anomaly and a little bit more of a description of the place itself, as well as the people in the place. He said it was built into an asteroid. I guess we saw that picture. I didn't remember it being built into an asteroid, but it was that. In fact, we had some speculation about where from lore that actual R4 anomaly base had occurred in the past, and I thought we came up with an answer to it. I don't remember what it was now. But I guess it was kind of like built into and as part of an asteroid. But he named the secret research organization cult of evil Sith in there called the Unmasked. So I don't know if he mentioned that before, but I guess they're called the Unmasked. And he basically said they're so kind of creepy that even the other Sith don't like them. So Imperial and Republic get sent in to shut them down because neither the Empire nor the Republic like the Unmasked because they are creepy people.
I thought it was kind of interesting that he used the word horror, and then which I didn't resonate with, but then when he said creepy, I'm like, yeah, that's more like it to me. It's sort of creepy. But it also reminded me of all the settings around the Dreadmasters.
Yes. You got a lot of that Dreadmastery feel, especially the Seeds of Corruption sub-story, which still exists. So when you go kill Lucky on Corellia, Lucky is corrupted and he's a corrupted Rancor, or she is a corrupted Rancor. And
I don't know.
You see that corruption all over the place in all of the pockets around the galaxy. In fact, there's more of them. That kind of corrupted feel you see. Here's one of the screenshots and some of the concept art, sort of hanging from the ceiling there, looking kind of weird and corrupted. The Bestia fight is a little bit this way. She's got her "My Petsa Legion, behold," and like all the corruption on the walls and weird creatures that she's corrupted. So yeah, maybe there's more of that going on inside of here by the Unmasked. I don't know. This looked kind of cool. This was sort of a broken area of some of this underground, but it looks like it's been assaulted or this. I mean, this looks like it's still molten metal on the edge of this platform. I don't know what's going on there, but I kind of like that. That was intriguing. I was intrigued. And then, so those are the three main locations. That's the location part of the story. And then they talked about characters, and quite a few. So the major players in the galaxy, who are we going to be dealing with and encountering and experiencing? And first up, of course, the one, the only, Malgus. Oh, that reminds me. So I went through the Deceived book, talked about that. The recording, the voiceover for the Deceived book, they call him Malgus the whole time. Like mall, like I'm gonna go to the mall, or
Right.
Darth Maul, Malgus. And everybody, well, it's just one narrator. But like all the dialogue, it's all Malgus. Did not sound right to me. And I listened
No.
closely to see if Charles was saying it a little bit more like that. But no, everyone says
No.
Malgus.
Sometimes the narrators don't. Sometimes they do mispronounce proper names.
And that was way back 10 years ago now too. It could have been, or it could have been, it could have changed.
Or it could have been not easy to find out.
Right. Yeah. When they were recording that book, when they were doing the voiceover, maybe they didn't have a lot of access to the dev team, or maybe nobody really had a good answer.
Or maybe the narrator didn't think there was any other way to pronounce it and never thought to ask.
Yeah, maybe not. But Malgus is up. Charles is definitely excited about Malgus being on the cover of the Star Wars magazine, which is really cool as well. It is. He's a good character. He's a strong character. I'm glad he's getting more of an arc than his ending. I think his arc was still fine in the original.
He's looking very charred at this point. In this picture.
Yeah, he's been roughed up a little bit. He's definitely the major damage done to him was done by Satil Shan, but he's been ridden hard since then. Remember,
put away wet.
Ridden hard and put away wet. He got beat up by Satil Shan, then he got beat up by us, then he got frozen and tucked away for a while. Then he got unfrozen and captured and the Empress, if depending on your story, in my story it was Empress Empress Asina. She implanted a fail-safe device in him, and I think messed with him in a few other ways. And then we pulled the ceiling down on him in another flashpoint, and he got beat up a little bit more and crushed and mangled a little bit. And he patched himself up and put himself back together when he escaped. At that point, again, he's been through some serious fights. So
yeah, he has.
And he needs some Colto. Maybe that's what the whole impetus of this whole story is. He just wants a little bit of Colto. Can a guy get some Colto? Do I have to take over the whole planet of Manon? Because I will take over the whole planet of Manon if that's what I gotta do. So maybe that's and these relics. Maybe these relics are the search for Bacta, the recipe for Bacta. I think you solved it.
Maybe.
Sima. It's all about the Colto and Bacta. He just wants a Band-Aid. If somebody would just heal him, all of this would be solved.
He needs some aloe vera for sure.
Yeah, put some aloe vera on that. Next up, a fan favorite is coming back. Is it a fan favorite of yours, Sima? Major Henri?
Oh, I really like Major Henri. Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
I agree.
I like her style. Her dialogue was great when she was doing, walking along with us and introducing us to Osis.
Right. Which was a great way to tell the story while playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
If you don't remember, when you're on Osis playing through the story, they give you some side missions. Like you have to go to this place and do a couple things. You have to set some scouting beacons. And each place you hit, each milestone you reach in the side quest, which could have been a just like, go kill 5 boars kind of side quest. She's your companion, and she's telling you things along the way. At each of those checkpoints, kind of a new bit of the story gets told. So you don't like sit through a cutscene and then go kill 5 Imperials. You do it all sort of in a really organic way. It's great. Oh, Starry Saber says, needs some smoochy time, though. Are you talking about Henri? Well, we'll see. So think about that. Everyone think hard as you go through these characters about that, because you might that opportunity might come up, apparently. Next up for you to think about that, which is kind of whiny. I wouldn't be thinking about it with this guy. Henri? Yeah, she's cool. Jedi Knight Arn Peralum. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, close enough.
So tell me about Arn, Seema.
Well,
is
he's
Arn
gotten
a
a
favorite of
promotion.
yours?
He's a Jedi Knight now. When
He's
we
a
first
Jedi
met
Knight.
him, he was a Padawan.
He's a cyborg. He's got that going for him. And he's a knight.
But he's going to be, let's see. He was actually on Manon doing something unrelated when the Sith invaded. So he was able to get word back.
Small
And
galaxy.
Yes, small galaxy. And that's why the Republic is here too.
Yes. So they just happen to be there. And then the Imperial invaded. And he's there. And he's the one who's, if you're on the Republic side, is going to be calling you up on the bat phone and saying, Ermagerd, there's Imperials inverting. So you're going to have to go help him out, apparently. Hopefully he will have matured a little bit if he has now gotten a promotion to Jedi Knight. We'll see. He wasn't immature, that immature, but he was a little wishy-washy because his story was that he was a Padawan. He was sort of finding his way and figuring things out. He was a little bit old to be a Padawan, but that was partially because of the accident which turned him into a cyborg. So he had sort of deal with that. So hopefully he's like a cool Jedi cyborg. We've had plenty of Sith cyborgs. So hopefully he's like a cool Jedi cyborg dude now. That would be cool to see. Next up, definite favorite of mine, both in the voice acting and the character and her story. Probably one of my favorite characters in the game is Lana Beniko. I mean, she's a favorite of a lot of people's. But to really have that kind of gray character, on the Sith side, she's a Sith, but doesn't act like the traditional Sith. Is not comically evil. She's more. She can be ruthless, but it would all be for the goals, and the goals and objectives that she has seem to be relatively, if not, good, noble, and a correct path is the way I would characterize it. Am I characterizing that well, Seema? Or would you say she's bad?
No, I think she's, well, no, I think she's good actually.
Yeah, so maybe she's a light side Sith.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's a great character. In fact, she was with us when we went to Manon the first time. Well, you mentioned that, but yeah.
Right. So maybe I think they said she's going to be accompanying you because she has been all the way up to this point, but it sounds like continuing to be a liaison in the story as this Manon stuff goes on as well.
I mean, Starry Saber says would say that Lana is balanced rather than light or dark. I don't know, because Lana is not, when she doesn't like someone, she doesn't kill them or force choke them to get them out of her way. And I mean, maybe not doing that makes you medium instead of good, light side. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think she's done enough. I don't think she's done enough dark to really be balanced of both light and dark. I think she maybe just walks the line and doesn't doesn't do anything that bad or anything that just sort of like benevolent. And maybe that's the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So it's not that she's balanced because she does some terrible things but some really good things. She's balanced because she does neither really bad things or super benevolent, happy fun time things.
Well, she she did want to kill the Knights of Zakul, but she does have like military objectives.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but she doesn't like get mad at someone and then go, okay, well now I'll kill you and torture you and enslave your children.
Right. Right. They also mentioned and reminded us that Lana Beniko got the cosplay kit that was published. So if you didn't hear about that, we talked about that in previous episodes. That is out there. It's got a lot of imagery and different views of her character, views of all of her armor and her accessories. So if you wanted to cosplay Lana Beniko, you've got all of the details in exquisitely published in that PDF that you can grab. Great resource. Really cool to have that kind of thing available. I really appreciate that they did that. Next up, of course, we got the voice actor that we talked about. Tawa Dare will be around. Apparently, she will be joining Republic players on Elam, so she will be one of the characters in the story there. So I would expect that since we've got the voice actor that seems to be involved. Great to see Tawa Dare back. She's a pretty cool Jedi character. Yeah, one of the cooler Jedis that we've experienced lately. Not your typical, calm, emotionless, Jedi kind of characters. A little more volatile, a little more emotional, a little more
Questioning.
militaristic, and
that's true.
a little bit of a fighter. So it's kind of cool that way. And then another fan favorite, and I think it's pretty cool. What do you think of Darth Rivix, Seema?
Do not like Darth Rivix.
You don't like Darth Rivix?
No. Darth Rivix. Like, I know, I do not like him. Because he's manipulative.
Would you like him in a house? Would you like him with a mouse?
Whatever.
He's didn't mean to souse you up there. He's a lot of people just liked how sort of like suave he is.
Well, that's sort of the definition of charm is behaving in a way to get what you want. So, and that's what he is. And he also, his race, that's one of their special abilities.
So Seema sees right through it. You have not.
I do not.
She's no weak-minded fool. Your mind tricks do not work on Seema. Darth Rivix. You just.
I'm sure that he could figure out a way to make something that would work on me. But I'm not. From afar, I do not look at him and go, "Oh, Darth Rivix."
Yep.
I do not like him.
You're gonna have to back it up, Darth Rivix. You got nothing on Seema. Couple new.
What
characters.
About you? Do you like him?
No, I think he's fine. Yeah, he seemed to me to be pretty slimy Sith kind of character as well.
Yeah, Zeltron, and their special, thing that they can do with pheromones is persuade you to do stuff.
Oh, that's like Jessica Jones and David Tennant's character in Jessica Jones, right? Wasn't that basically what his deal was? He could make anybody do what he wants because he kind of had like this pheromone deal.
I did not watch that show because that is way too dark for me.
It is quite dark. It is quite dark.
So I don't know the answer to your question. I wanted to because I'm a big David Tennant fan, but.
And the actress who plays Jessica Jones is amazing and does an excellent job playing that character. But it is just a dark, harsh story. She's quite, she's abused and damaged, even though she's sort of a superhero, and she's got a rough time of it and never really. It's not about Jessica Jones. Seema, get me going down. New character. Let's talk about moving on.
All my fault.
Colonel
Okay.
Gallo. Colonel Gallo.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about her.
So I really like the idea of her. I'm looking forward to meeting her. So she is a Cellcath commando. She's the first Cellcath we've had in the game who speaks basic.
Yeah.
So that means there's a voice actor behind this character. But she's
Yeah, and they
her
don't just sound
history.
like or
Right.
whatever.
Her history has led her to trust neither faction completely, but she's working with the Republic at this time. But I think she's open to the idea that the Republic may not be any better than the Empire.
I think all the Selkath are sort of in that boat in general, and that's part of their history. So I could see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because they have a resource that everybody wants,
Yes. The spice. I mean,
and they have been
the
mistreated because of it, and it's not over yet.
The colto must flow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Would you like to do some ranting about Dune now?
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that leads to total oblivion. I will face my fear. No. But colto
Okay.
and spice, we got a little, maybe there is a little bit of a thing there. Colonel Cord, I like how you spelled Cord. You spelled it better than I did. Did you read that somewhere? Or is that your expectation?
I read that
Oh,
somewhere
did you?
because at first I spelled it Korn. I'm like, no, I don't think it's Colonel Korn. I don't think that's right.
I like Colonel Corn. I'm Colonel Corn.
But I liked what Charles said about this guy is he's your basic Imperial officer just trying to do his job in an effective way.
Yep.
And reach the success of the mission.
I like those guys. I like those Imperial officers that are stiff upper lip, trying to do the job, just trying to get it done, just trying to keep people safe, dealing with I like it when they rub up against Sith and, to the point of rolling their eyes and OMG, more of this Sith crap that I got to deal with.
Right.
All right. Whatevs. Let's do this, I guess. If I can get my people out of this alive, I will be surprised because this is what I need to deal with.
This is where we usually die.
Empire.
Right.
So yeah, we'll check him out. He's got a sweet mustache there, and some nice sideburns as well. I'm interested to hear his voice. Let's get the voice actor on the line and find out how that looks. And then, speaking of the kind of crap he's got to deal with, we get
right.
Darth Norak.
Norak. Or yeah.
Norak.
Well, I guess we'll learn more about what his name actually is, but he's ruthless, determined. And Charles went so far as to say he had never lost a duel.
Or so he claims, yeah.
Right, or so he claims, right.
Oh, great.
Which is the companion that says that she was the best duelist in her class, or the top of her class, or
yeah.
Is that Ashara?
Ashara? Yeah, I think it's Ashara. It's not Nadia.
I hope those two duel.
It's definitely not Nadia.
Thanks for
Not
trusting
Nadia.
me. Shut up, Max.
Yeah, Ashara. So I hope Ashara and Darth Norrak get to
there you go.
duel.
Best duelist in my class. Darth
Chad.
Yeah, exactly.
He have a
He's
kind of a
got the blonde
look.
hair. He's got the Sith eyeshadow. The eyeliner, dark black eyeliner crap going on. Giant armor shoulder pads. I'm Darth Norak.
He is a little ways down the Sith path for sure.
Apparently, he's got that scowl going on. So we'll see. Yeah, he's going the right way for a Jedi lightsaber, right in the thorax. He doesn't have a thorax.
You cracked yourself up there.
The thorax. That cracked me up. But yeah. And then this is the part. So that's the last character. And this is the part where Charles specifically said, oh, and we're we're tossing in a couple new flirts and romance, and you get to kiss. Apparently, if you play your cards right, you get to kiss one of these characters.
He said, I think he said you get to kiss someone you've never gotten to kiss before.
Oh, well.
So that could mean one of these characters or someone that people have been asking for a romance before and have not gotten yet.
I think it's just going to be Rivix.
Ugh.
I think it would be cooler if it was. Well, I think it would be more fun if it was Henri. If you wanted to RP somebody you would potentially have a relationship with, I think it would be the coolest if it was Gallo, the Selkath. I want to see how that would work. That kiss. Let's go back to Gallo there. No, I guess she's got. I mean, she's got the face tentacles, but there's got enough lips there that she could have an actual human to Selkath kiss going on there.
We have some strong feelings in the chat room.
Kiss the
If
Selkath.
it's not Henri, I'm uninstalling.
Good.
I like the passion.
Yeah. That's got to stand your ground there, Forster. I like that. Me, I'm going for Gallo. I'll line up for the Gallo kissing booth. Cord and his little mustache there. Does that do it for you? See where I'm going with this little cyborg lovin' from Arn. You could get that going on. So we'll see. We'll put that one on the back burner. Got too many images that I did not want to see going through my head right now.
Right.
What did we get? We also got. Oh, so then they reminded us again about the Tau Adair art. So lots of Tau code, but they showed this, and they put a relatively high-res version of this on. So this is the new key art. The key. This is, now that I look at it though, the left half. Look at that side eye from Malgus. He's really good, sort of doing the giving you the side eye there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean,
Rivix and Adair to me do not look.
Oh, they look completely different. Yeah,
look weird.
They do look different, but I've actually listened to someone talking about that because one of the big statues that they sold, that Blizzard sold for WoW, was one of the famous characters there, and people were complaining that it didn't look like her in game, and there was a lot of back and forth about how, yes, they differ from artist to artist.
Sure.
So,
and you'd want some of the artist's style to come through if you're asking them to make a key piece of art,
right? And I look at this Tau Adair, and I'm looking at that going, is that really Tau Adair to me? Like, I don't know. And Darth Rivix, I have to convince myself that it's. I mean, it's like the right color skin, the right color hair, the right
and
armor,
not even the right facial expression. I mean, it looks pensive and, like pensive and dour, and that's not Darth Rivix at all from a personality perspective. That's not the story I see there.
But the real thing about this picture to me is like, who is this Twi'lek down at the bottom?
Yeah,
is that like Malgus's memory of his GF that he killed?
No, because it's got a lightsaber. I don't think it would be that.
Oh, that's right, because she had pistols.
I think maybe this might be the stand-in for the player.
I've heard that
expect.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I think Henri looks pretty good here. Sort of the right attitude and the right look. I think Arn actually looks pretty good here.
Arn looks pretty good, but they all look like different people.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Lana doesn't look. I mean, Lana looks a little bit windblown, and she doesn't look
sort of
like
her
updated style.
Yeah,
I think Arn looks the best. Now that I look at it, he looks more mature. He's got the serious look on his face. He's got the furrowed brow, but he's got the good Obi-Wan beard going on too. That's looking pretty good. Needs a haircut though.
And I think Malgus looks pretty good too. Even his side eye.
Yeah, his side eye is looking pretty good. Yeah. Malgus always looks good. He's got a really good robe, helmet, hood toggle. When hood
Yeah, yeah.
toggle.
It's not Alina Daru. That's what I was thinking. So no, but she had pistols, so
It's sort of
not a
a
lightsaber.
lilac blade on that lightsaber too.
But that could be because that whole part of the drawing has the color kind of sucked out of it too.
Yeah.
Like the color is in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Even Colonel Gallo in the background is partially devoid of the color.
Where's Colonel Corn? I don't see him.
Yeah, where is Colonel Corn?
He shall forever be known as Colonel Corn from now on. And then they wrapped up the stream. The grand finale was Keith. Keith was
Yay,
on.
Keith.
Was that recorded? I didn't catch that. I didn't catch if that was recorded or it felt like
That's a
it
good
was
question.
live, but it felt like it could have been recorded as well. He had some comments. What did he say? He said some sort of general nice
He
things.
said, yes, he said he missed being able to see the players and the people he works with, that they were hoping for a cantina in 2022. But he also said, and I think this was a pretty important comment, was that they've shown us a lot about 7.0, but he wanted to assure us that what we have seen is just a start. There's
chat room's
much
cracking me
more.
up. So yeah, just to extend what the chat room's talking about, I think the command ship that the Imperial Colonel rides on is called the Cobb. So it could be Colonel Corn on the Cobb. Colonel Corn
then-
on the Cobb.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, and
Yes.
then he did show a view of his office, and it was awesome. I'm like, oh my god, I need to redo my office.
Keith did?
Yeah.
I was playing it on double
you have to
speed,
go.
so I missed
no,
that.
you have.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
you
I
have
like
to go
that.
back and look at it. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you need to see that.
All right, and I'll have to get a screenshot of that.
He also shared with us that the first date he went on with his wife was they went to see in the theaters a movie, A New Hope. So that he said they're still together, still involved in Star Wars. So that was a sweet story.
Yeah, that was nice, and I mean, only in passing with a whole bunch of people, but I met her and saw her at the New York cantina.
Oh yeah, that's right. He commented that she had come to a few of the cantinas.
Yeah, so it was really nice to see her. She seemed like a great person.
And they did show this montage, and when he first said that they had put together a montage, I thought, oh, that's cool. But actually, watching this montage, by the end, I did have like a tear in my eye, because going through that montage is like, oh, I remember that, I remember that, oh, I remember that, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been playing this game. It's been a big part of our lives for a long time.
So it also
was touching.
It had Malgus doing the voiceover and sort of set up the story. So he said, "Oh, the galaxy has been controlled by the Empire and by the Republic, and it is now time. Now it's time to break free." So that's how it sort of finishes, with that break free line. But then the final cut, after Malgus, it's sort of Malgus, then it's Malgus saying break free. Did you see the green eyes? What was that? What were we looking at there?
Yeah, I did not know what that was, actually.
Okay. Does anyone else know what those green eyes were?
At the end. It must be from one of the trailers.
I don't know. I would think, or it's something new, or I think it's probably from some of the trailer, and we probably should know, and we don't, so we're bad fans.
Yes, we're bad fans.
My other hope, my irrational hope was, we're not bad fans. That's actually from a trailer, but it's from a trailer we haven't seen yet, and we're getting a Blur trailer coming. And
yeah,
because it looks like it could have been the eyes from that Twi'lek you just said, who is that?
Yeah, maybe.
Let me go. Here's T for teen. Then we saw this. Get this. Get the end. And there's Darth Malgus. That right there.
Yeah.
Whose eyes are those? I do not remember seeing that ever before. Chat room, what are you saying?
I wonder if that's like from like when Valen was a little girl.
But they're like green with reflections.
I
in them.
know. I know.
I don't know. There's Valen. Oh no, there's Senya.
Yeah.
What is the reflection in the eyes? Can't see. Can't tell. What is going on? New character. Chat room doesn't know. Chat room's not saying, yeah, it was new. It's cool looking. I mean, if that's a render, which I'm sure, I guess it is. It's got to be. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool render. I'm gonna let it play this time. Oh, that's too far back. Gotta get back in time. Malgus popping his hood up. My favorite from these trailers is still Nico Okar. I want to cosplay Nico Okar someday. There, right there. And then the final bit, the saga continues. 12, 14, 21. So we got that popped up at the end of the trailer, which Keith said that it would, and it did. The saga continues, 12, 14, 21, which is the launch date. So this is smack in the middle of both Seema and my estimate. So Seema's estimate was the 7th. Mine estimate was the 21st. It's right in the middle. But my estimate was a two-parter, right? It was that they would announce it and aim for the 14th. And as they got closer, it would get delayed a week because they wouldn't have everything done and they would delay it to the 21st. So there's still a chance that I could have the perfect prediction because I did say both of those things. But I'm leaning in your direction, Seema, which was the follow-on to your prediction was whatever date they announce, they will not slip.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to slip.
So I think that part's is going to be right. And I think they will move heaven and earth to not slip off of that date now that they've announced it.
Yeah.
Because also
just
the
feel
anniversary and the holiday and everything else coming up, launching on the 21st would be a bad deal. All right. So we got a date. So what does that give us? How many podcasts then do we have left before we've got the 25th, which is next week, so we won't be podcasting on the 25th because that is Thanksgiving. We might do something around it. We haven't decided yet. You will find out. It's a mystery. You will find out over this week, this coming weekend or so. And then we've got, so the 25th, then we've got the 2nd and the 9th, the 2nd and the 9th after that.
Yeah. 2 more.
So if we want to do a final, we talked about maybe doing a final, here's how to prepare for 7.0. We'll have to do it on the 2nd or the 9th. I won't have much time to prepare on the 9th.
We're going to have to put some short preparations on there. It can't be any
How to prepare?
Get to
patch your client? I don't know.
get to renown 999.
Yeah, not going to be doing any of that.
That won't be on there.
But good to know we've got a date. I think we're all ready and raring to go. I know I am. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. So we've got Elam to still potentially talk about. Keith still seems to hint that maybe there's even more stuff. Definitely alluding to things coming into next year, that this is the start of an arc. But he's quite excited. So I'm thinking there could still be a couple surprises that we see, even as
I'm
of
counting
the 14th.
on it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm holding my breath. And if I need to hold my breath until...
playable race.
All Ortolan, all the time.
Yes.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up, Zima?
No.
I think we're good. And our EPC 405 is ready to get kicked out an airlock and broadcast this episode to all of you out there. Better get it out quick 405 because we've got expansion coming soon, which is great to hear. So for podcast links, follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray, and I will post when we go live and when this show goes up on the feeds, and if we are doing a show next week. And if you know any people that should be playing with us, point them to our guild website, aie-guild.org. In the upper right, you can get the guild Discord, as I mentioned. You can jump on there. We have guilds on Starforge on both the Republic and the Imperial side. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.